Hello everybody. There are so many great people here at AUB, so many wonderful individuals with great histories and fantastic futures. But there's one person I've been dying to talk to interview for Paul's Place for so long, the one and only Violet McClean. So Violet, tell me about your background and the history of your involvement at AUB.
Well, my history goes back quite some time, about 24 years. I originally came as a student at the study what was then Arts and Events Management, which is Events Management now. So I moved my life from Edinburgh, a very fruitful, colourful, entertaining city, to Bournemouth to study Events Management. And in my time as a student at AUB was fantastic. I've seen it grow so much, but it gave me the foundation to become who I was and to be the person I've always wanted to be. And I think that's a testament to what this university is. It creates people into who they really are.
So why the gallery, and what have you brought to this remarkable venue that we have here?
So I knew I was always in love with curating and doing gallery work, and I had the opportunity of doing it as part of my final major. And I kind of fell in love with the place, if I can say that word. And so I impressed colleagues maybe at the sort of how assertive I was as a student. So they liked my style. So I did that final major project, and then I was later offered a job here, a part-time job as exhibitions officer, which was really exciting. There was no gallery, there's no program, and it was fantastic that the establishment at the time believed in my abilities that I could set up a gallery. So with the then gallery group, I worked with a number of colleagues. They gave me a list of names and a blank canvas. So what was then the gallery was a long wall in the main gallery, which is a foyer area. So there was one wall. I started with one wall. So I programmed the whole exhibition. Our first exhibition was with Peter Joyce. He was a member of staff and exhibiting artist. So that was our first exhibition. And you more or less could say that was history then. The gallery grew and it's developed into 5 galleries and now 3 permanent spaces. So one wall grew into award-winning and internationally recognized gallery, which I'm proud to say that I was part of. It was not just me, but it was a community and a team.
But beyond the gallery, when you look through all the leaflets, we do much more than just put work on walls in these galleries here. You and Will and the interns you work with hang work all over. We
have 3 art collections, so we're looking after those, bringing international art to our students, our community, and to obviously the region, because some of these collections, we couldn't technically afford some of these artists to exhibit, like the Bruce McLean's as part of the Arts Council. So we're adding currency to our community, but also to our local area. And then you say the other work we do outside that, we have toured our exhibitions nationally and internationally. We had the Facing East, which was an exhibition back in early 2000 that we worked with a group of Scandinavian artists that we brought to Bournemouth and we toured nationally. We also have the Lucian Day exhibition Living Design, which we toured to Ireland, 2 venues in Ireland. So our work brings the university out into the community and it enhances our civic agenda. And we've been doing that since I can remember, but more so since the early 2000s, and very much so since 2014, when we wanted to celebrate what AUB does.
Beyond the gallery, you have work in the halls of residence, you have work dotted all over the campus. Tell us a little bit about the initiatives you put in place over the last few years.
We have 3 collections, the John Barber Wicks collection, which we want to share, like there's Pablo Picasso's in it, so we want to share historical art. We've also got our main collection, which being our student collection and staff collection, which we've been working on for about over 15 years. It started with arts of work being bought from the summer shows, and then we started to see the value of that, about sharing good practice. And one of the reasons they're in the student halls, it's part of where we hang them. But I also see, as the art collection in the student halls is a focal point where students can come out of their rooms and talk about the art and also socialize with other people, because art is very powerful to me. It changes lives. I was just talking to some students yesterday from a school. When you think about how powerful art is, in a sense, it's in your mind and then suddenly it's on a piece of paper. That is incredible. And the thing is with art, it's not just about entertainment and education, it's about bringing people together.
I walk past the gallery frequently and see yourself and Will talking to large gatherings of school children connected to the university through our access and participation work. What's the one question they ask most frequently of you in terms of the art and the gallery?
They more or less tell me why art is important to them. It's not, they ask me a question, they tell me how they're feeling. Because what we do in those school workshops and stuff, we create a safe environment. Everybody has a voice in our world, our gallery world. So we invited the young people to stand up. They're about 9, 10. And I heard some students saying, oh, she won't talk. She never talks at school. She's too anxious. Every single person had something to say. And I hope the work we do with schools empowers people.
You've been here at AUB for some time. You've met thousands of people, made a difference in many of their lives, but others will have made a difference in your life. Give us a couple of people who you'd identify as being really important in your personal journey.
One person I can think about is the late Professor Simon Olding. I met him when I was 24, when I just arrived as a student. He was director of the Russell Coates Museum at the time. To be honest, at first he was a very formidable, big character. I was like, oh, a bit nervous. And then I later had the privilege of working with him as a colleague when I started to work at the university in my role running the gallery. And he was the director of the Craft Study Centre when I started to work with him. He was a committee member on the gallery group. He wrote for Textpress Work, and he was a fellow, so he had a very strong connection to the university. But for Simon, he was a colleague, but he was also a mentor and an inspiration. And he was an incredible man. He was so generous with his knowledge.
And finally, for me, 3 words that you think summarise AUB.
Community, passion, and forever. We'll be here forever. We've survived 2 world wars, 2 major pandemics, the Spanish flu and obviously COVID. We can survive everything because I think this university is a testament what really matters, the art, the students, and who we are to bring that to the outside world. Paul, I've got a question for you. What or who inspires and drives you as a person?
I would say it was my experience of working with all the students I've ever worked with, because I've only got to walk out of my office, get away from the email, get away from the telephone, and walk into a studio across AUB to see real learning happening in front of me, real understanding, and an opportunity to share the journey that each of those students is on. So yeah, it has to be the students.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Violet. That was so impressive in many, many ways. And your 3 words there, passion, community, forever. That really does stand for so much at AUB. Thank you so much.